Good afternoon, my friends. I'm a little excited because not only do I get to talk to my class, but I also get to talk to Mrs. Kurgan's class and Mrs. Lucio's class and do science with them. So I'm excited. So hi, everybody. I hope you're having a good day. So we're going to talk about mammals. I know some of you have already talked about mammals, but we're going to have a quick little review and do a couple of things, and that's what we're going to do for the rest of the week. All right, so here we go. First, we're going to be talking about living and non-living animals, or things, sorry about that. But first, I wanted to read this Bible verse, Genesis 1:20 through 21. And this is on the 5th day of creation. And it says, "Then God said, let the water be filled with many living things, and let there be birds to fly in the air over the earth." So God created large sea animals. He created all the living things in the sea and every kind of bird that flies in the air. And God saw that this was good. How cool is that? So all the cool looking birds and the beautiful birds and the cool looking sea life, the really neat looking sea life and the beautiful colors all came from God. That all came out of God's thought process, which I think is really awesome. So let's go over, because I'm pretty sure you've done this already with your class, because I know I have. Living things, they need to eat food, just like we need to eat food and we need water. Do living things? Nope. We need to grow. Living things grow and get bigger. All right, you guys are going to grow and get bigger. Do living things grow and get bigger and change? No. And about breathing. All living things need to breathe, either with their gills or with lungs or with the little air holes. We need to breathe. But living things, not so much. And we all need a place to live. You know, dogs have dog houses and kitties have little beds, and we all have a place to live. And that's what a living thing needs. A non-living thing, nah, you can kind of take it and put it anywhere, can't you? It doesn't need a place to stay. Okay, next, living and non-living, fun little video that I'm going to show you guys. I really like this gal. She's kind of fun. So I'm going to show it to you.
Squeaks, it's a great day to be alive. And yes, I'm really living, and so are you. But what does that mean? It sounds like a pretty simple question, right? There are living things all around us, as well as things that are not living. When I was looking around the Ford's playground just a minute ago, I saw a rock, which is not a living thing. But the bird that was singing in the tree, that's definitely living. And the tree is too. But sometimes the answer to the question of what's a living thing and what's not can be a little tricky. I can hear a bird sing when I watch a video on a computer or a phone. But of course, computers and phones aren't living things, even though they might make sounds exactly like things that are alive. Scientists called biologists study all sorts of living things. So they're the experts on what things are living and what things are not. After studying all kinds of life, they discovered that everything that's alive, or was once alive, has a few things in common. You can think of them kind of as rules that all living things follow. So let's take a look at some of these rules. Rule number 1, living things need energy. You need energy to play and to do your schoolwork. A plant needs energy to make new leaves and to grow. Even some kinds of germs use energy when they make us sick. Living things get energy in lots of different ways, but they all need it to stay alive. Okay, rule number 2, living things grow and change. You're bigger than you were when you were a baby, but you're not as big as you will be someday. And just like you, all living things grow and change, whether that means growing up or getting more branches and making new leaves like trees do. All right, rule number 3, living things reproduce. Reproduce means to make more of something. When living things reproduce, they make more of themselves. For animals, that means having babies like kittens and puppies that will grow up to become adult cats and dogs. For plants, that usually means making seeds that can grow into new plants. Rule number 4, living things respond to the world around them. In other words, when something around a living thing changes, that living thing changes too. For example, when you get cold, you might shiver or put on a coat. Both of these things will help you warm up. So that's how you respond to the cold. And in the same way, in autumn, when the days start to get shorter and the weather starts to get cooler, some trees lose their leaves. They are responding to the change of seasons? Great question, Squeaks. What about the leaves that have fallen to the ground? Are they living or non-living? Those leaves on the ground, even the brown dead ones, were part of a living thing, the tree. So biologists say that we still call them living things. Now, it might seem like there's some things missing from the rules. Like, what about moving? When you think about it, a lot of living things move, but not all of them do. Plants, for example, don't get up and walk around, but they're still alive. And there are things that move that were never alive, like shadows or the hands on a watch. Shadows don't use energy, and watches don't reproduce or grow. So if you're thinking like a biologist, then something has to meet all of the rules in order for it to be considered a living thing. If it doesn't, then it's not alive. Now, are you ready to test what you know about living things? It's game time! I'll name a thing, and you have to decide whether it's alive or not. First up, is an earthworm living or non-living? If you said living, you're right. Earthworms need energy to wriggle through the soil. They also grow, and they lay eggs that hatch into baby earthworms, which means they reproduce. And if you've ever held an earthworm, you know they respond to changes in the world around them. If you pick one up, it tries to wiggle away. All right, next up, is a cloud living or non-living? If you said non-living, you're right. A cloud may look like it grows because it might get bigger, say before it rains, but a cloud doesn't use energy, and it doesn't have baby clouds, so it doesn't reproduce. And since it doesn't follow all the rules, it's not living. Okay, what about this stick? Is it living or not living? If you said living, you're right. This stick is living because it was once part of a tree. And since the tree is a living thing, then the stick can also be called a living thing. So you can use these easy rules to study everything you see around you. Go for a walk outside and take some time to stop and think about what you see. Icicles, acorns, pebbles, and grass. And look at the clues we talked about. Are they alive or not? Thanks for joining us on SciShow Kids. If you have a question for us, ask a grown-up to help you leave a comment down below or send us an email to kids@scishow.com. Thanks, and we'll see you next time here at the Fort.
So, what did you think? That gal sure talks fast. Doesn't she talk fast? Holy cow. I like this song. It's adapted. Let's see. The living song is it is living, it is living. I know why, I know why. It eats and breathes and grows. It eats and breathes and grows. It's alive, it's alive. So, I just performed for you. Aren't you lucky? All right, so what you're doing next, if you haven't already, which you might have already, is you have a page with living and non-living things on it. And you're going to cut these little guys out, and you're going to put them on living and non-living. And I think you know what living and non-living is, right? Is a clock living? No. Let's see. How about a cloud? Is a cloud living? No. A fish? Yes. The rabbit? Yes. So you do have some living things on here. So what's living and what's non-living, and just put them on there. All right, so you guys, while you're going to do that, I will say goodbye for right now and do that and have a good time doing it. And next we'll be talking about their habitat. All right, so have a good day, and I will see you tomorrow.